If everyone could please rise for a presentation of colors. Thank you, Local 407, members of the Honor Guard for presenting our colors. We'll begin our ceremony here today for Fire Chief Steve Howard. First, we'd like to acknowledge and thank everyone for coming here today. I'd like to recognize Chief Howard's wife, Beth, Chief Howard's family and children are here today, and then also Chief Howard's mom, Rita. So thank you all for coming and thank you for joining us. Special thanks goes out to our mayor, common council members that are here, and then also our police and fire commissioners. We also have Representative Allen, who may still be around, but he has a previous engagement that he's going to step up there. And then also we'd like to acknowledge Rebecca Beretta from the U.S. Senator Tammy Bowles' office. Thank you for coming. I'd like to also give a very special thank you to our staff and acknowledge the work that was done here today. Please be seated. I apologize. I thought maybe we would just stand the whole time. I have to stand. Why can't everybody else stand? I've never had to do a ceremony before for somebody retiring, so this is a new experience for me, and I am learning. So, I'd also like to just acknowledge our staff for putting together this beautiful room today, taking and cleaning the bay, and making it such a beautiful occasion for the Chief's final day. So, without further ado, I'll introduce our guest of honor. Chief Howard was born here into the Waukesha Fire Department family through his father, our Assistant Chief, Dennis Howard. And although he tried his hardest to not follow his dad's lead, eventually he realized that serving the citizens of Waukesha was his calling to be. Chief Howard entered the fire service as a paid-on-call firefighter with the City of Waukesha Fire Department, making many lifelong friends and having great experiences that shaped his time in the fire service. In 1988, Chief Howard received his call a second time to serve his hometown as a firefighter here in the City of Waukesha, immediately getting involved in many aspects of the job. Steve was promoted to lieutenant in the Fire Prevention Bureau in 1994, deputy chief in the Fire Prevention Bureau in 1997, and eventually assistant chief of administration in 2002. Ultimately, we were joined in this room back on October 7th, 2016, when we gathered here in the apparatus bay for Chief Howard's his installment as fire chief of the City of Waukesha. Chief Howard's accomplishments are many, more than I have time here today to list. But more than many of his many accomplishments in this is his passion. His passion drives his work to always lead by example, ensuring that our department consistently hits the mark of providing high levels of service to our citizens here in Waukesha. Chief Howard has always held his passion for service and being a servant first as his leader. Steve's beliefs can be summarized by the statement, I am not here for me, I am here for we, and we are here for them. He instills these thoughts in his servant leadership style and it always emphasizes it in every teaching he has. Chief Howard has always been the ultimate educator. His knowledge base is wide, and his willingness to use his knowledge to be the catalyst for growth and change, not only here in the city of Waukesha, but throughout the state of Wisconsin and the United States. His fingerprints are all over the fire service that we all know here today. Chief has led the City of Waukesha Fire Department through some very challenging events and times. He has faced adversity head-on and has never wavered in his passion to protect and serve our community. Chief Howard's love of our community is great. His only greater love is his family and his extended fire department family. Chief Howard knew that when we take care of our firefighters, when we keep them safe, healthy, they will go out and take care of our residents and neighbors at their time of need. Chief Howard has dedicated his life to the fire service and is very deserving of the recognition we have for him here today. His accomplishments, but more than anything, is his passion and dedication for protecting life and property in the community in which he lives and serves. Thank you. We have a number of awards or recognitions for Chief Howard, and first up is Mayor Sean Riley.
Thank you, Joe. I think I can leave the microphone right here. So for me, this truly is an honor to be here today. So I started in 2014. At that time, Chief Howard was an interim chief. And for the last 10 years, he and I have pretty much had weekly meetings and probably even more than that. We have met, we have a standing meeting each week, and there's been many, many times where we've had to have meetings to take care of issues as they were emerging, and most of those issues, a lot of those issues were very, very difficult. Before I get into my great comments about Chief Howard, I want to make sure everyone understands that with Chief Howard leaving, we have only one person who has seniority here and is actually truly in charge, and that would be Kathy. Where is she? I was talking to Joe, and I guess she's senior. That I don't know how they do this, but she's senior in a number of different ways, and she obviously started working when she was 12. I also was told that Chief Howard got a ride to work this morning on engine number 34 right over here, and that is truly appropriate because that's the engine he started on too. So, what I have to say about Chief Howard is, one, he's a friend. Definitely, or at least I feel that he's my friend. We'll see if he thinks I'm his friend. His commitment to the fire department has always been to make the fire department the best that it can be. He's also had a commitment to make the city the best that it can be. He's a commitment, he has a commitment to be a professional. He has a commitment to keeping firefighters safe. He has a commitment to making the city safe. He always has a commitment to do the right thing, no matter how hard. And some of the things we had to deal with were extremely hard. Some of the things were kind of a surprise to me. Chief Howard calling me up and saying, fireworks have to be canceled, it's too windy. We need to get that message out. That was actually pretty hard to cancel, a big event and stuff like that, and it happens. But Chief Howard was always very articulate in telling me why, and allowing us to explain to the citizens why something wouldn't happen. The condo Horizon West obviously was one of those days where there was a lot of difficult decisions being made, or weeks. The parade tragedy, that was something that I think without Chief Howard, the fire department, the police department, and everyone else working on that, I think we came out of that as best as any community can in helping the people that needed the help. I think Chief Howard played an enormous part in that. So he also has a commitment to being fair and and a commitment to ensuring that others are also fair. Joe used the word passion, I use the word commitment. Chief Howard has always had a commitment, and he's had a commitment for all those things that make Waukesha better. I always knew where Steve stood. There was no gray area as to where Steve stood, and when he was explaining to me where he's coming from for the fire department, but he also acknowledged that there was possibly other concerns that I needed to take into consideration, the city administrator needed to take into consideration. When he didn't get his way, he was very gracious. He understood that he's not going to win every single battle in regards to making the fire department the best it can be, because sometimes that was needed to be done in order for other aspects of the city to run the way they should. I always knew he'd be honest. I always knew he'd be reasonable in his position. And Steve Howard, at least for me, for the last decade, is the person that, one of the people that has made Waukesha the great city it is. It's made the fire department the envy of the state, especially, I know that the Pewaukee Fire Department really envies us a lot too. Where's Steve? So I had to put that out there. We will miss Steve, we'll miss his knowledge and his leadership. I know that even though Chief Howard is retiring, he has left the fire department in a position that, as I say, all communities envy. We are in a great position. There will be a new fire chief, but it will be a long time before we don't think of this fire department as Chief Howard's fire department. So with that, I got to give Steve his plaque. There you go, Steve. Your plaque for 35 and a half years of service. Thank you for all your hard work and dedication on behalf of the City of Waukesha. So grab that in hand. I'll grab this. There we go. Thank you. So the other thing he also gets is a coveted city watch for more than 25 years of service, or 20 years of service. Thank you, Steve. I thought I was almost going to put it on my wrist and then give it to you, but I decided to keep it in the box. So thank you again.
Next, we have Fire Chief Matt Fettig of the Waukesha County Fire Chiefs Association.
I can actually leave the microphone in here too, and thank you everyone for sitting down. Yes, I have the distinct honor and the privilege this afternoon to present Chief Howard with the Achievement Award from the Waukesha County Fire Chiefs Association. This award is given to Chief Howard for his 35 dedicated years to the fire service in Waukesha County and years of service to the Waukesha County Fire Chiefs Association. Chief Howard's legacy will live on for a very long time. Mentorship, his friendship, and things like that will never be forgotten. For myself personally, when I first became Chief Howard and I had a couple of conversations and he helped me out through some very difficult things. So again, Chief Howard, on behalf of the Fire Chiefs Association, thank you for your dedication.
Next, we have Waukesha County LEPC Chair, Chief Brad Nolan.
Thank you again. On behalf of the Local Emergency Planning Committee for Waukesha County, Steve, 10 years of dedicated service, your guidance, your input, your mentorship, but most importantly, your expertise and experience. Thank you for serving Waukesha County, and
Fire Chief, 35 and a half years of outstanding performance and dedication to the citizens of the City of Waukesha. Thank you, Chief. Now we have a brief little pause in our program for a lifelong friend of Chief Howard, Chief Kevin Bierce. Has a few words that he would like to share, maybe a story or two about their time together over the years. He promised it would be less than 30 minutes, so please sit.
Might not be lifelong after this, okay? For those of you that don't know, Steve and I started many years ago together in EMT school. I don't know how or why. I was still active duty in the military at the time, a young, actually old captain. I was in class and they had assigned everybody a partner. Unfortunately, Steve walked in last. Guess what? So he looked at me, I looked at him. I thought he was going to leave the class after seeing me, but that was okay. So we traveled down that journey together for many years. And so, interestingly enough, he wasn't on the department yet. I said, hey, come on over to Pewaukee, we're a cool place to hang out. That was back in the old days, folks, when, tailboards were riding on, not sitting on. Okay? So, we didn't have seatbelts, we didn't have all the cool stuff they had in the big city, but Steve came along for the ride. So he had got indoctrinated into the Pewaukee School of Charm. Okay? Mayor, you still listen to us on that one. Yeah. My mayor's talking about it. So. Next Tuesday. Got it. So it was an interesting road. We've been to many schools together. We've traveled the state together teaching classes. Some interesting nights, I would say, in Green Bay teaching an inspector's class, where we had X number of extra rooms left over, and it just happened to be a Green Bay Packer home game. And those extra rooms were well received for free tickets to a game that evening. So it all worked out well in the end. It's been a heck of a journey. I mean, Steve and I have gone back and forth. One of the interesting stories was when I was called up to go overseas. I called Steve up. I said, hey, Steve, you want to do a road trip? He's like, where to? California. He's like, hey, I'm in. I just got to be back for my 4-day. I said, I think we can make it. It's 2,000 miles. I mean, we'll just drive straight through. So we attempted to do that. If you ever tried to drive to San Diego in the middle of the winter in a Camaro through the New Mexico mountains, you'll understand how much fun we didn't have on a day. Okay? But I was deployed. I got to go to the sandbox, and he went to the beach. So I guess it all worked out in the end. But it's been a heck of a journey. I can tell you 101 stories of him being there for me and standing, catching my back when I needed somebody to talk to or to relay information to or to share things. We've worked at the state together. We've worked in multiple school districts together. We've traveled the nation together teaching. It's just been simply an honor. One, to have him as a co-worker and a counterpart, but more importantly, he's been one of my best friends for many years. And I'm really glad he's retiring in the springtime because I need the rest of my house sided. So again, Mayor, it's been an honor to work with all of you from the City of Waukesha over these years. This partnership that we formed between the City of Milwaukee. And I heard that little jab, so you know. So I'll relay that also. Your bill just went up again. So it has been an honor to have this close working relationship over the years. And I think Steve has been a driving force for that throughout the whole company. So again, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you all being here.
Like all good things, you have to pivot when Kathy pulls you aside and tells you forgot something. I'm thankful that all of you are here today, that you choose not to be up at the fairgrounds. Other individuals, originally when I heard that Trump was coming to town on May 1st, I immediately thought we were going to have he was coming in to speak on behalf of Steve. Why wouldn't he come here for this? But unfortunately, he had his flight was delayed, so he could not speak at your presentation today. So, but a number of our elected officials had a number of presentation items for you. We have from thank you, Kathy. From Chris Pinga's office, he has a presentation for you of the flag flown over the Capitol. And then from Representative Scott Allen's office, he has a proclamation, which I'll read here. Knowing you, State of Wisconsin, citation from the Senate. Know you by these, know you by these presents. Whereas Chief Steve Howard is a lifelong resident of the City of Waukesha and a leader in the community. And whereas the Chief Steve Howard has been committed to serving the City of Waukesha in some form of fire protection for 35 years. And whereas Chief Steve Howard began his career in the firefighter with the City of Waukesha Fire Department and Waukesha Fire Department simultaneously. And whereas Chief Steve Howard, as he gained more knowledge and experience, he moved up ranks to better serve his colleagues in the community. Whereas Chief Steve Howard has served as fire chief since 1997. Whereas Chief Steve Howard has been an adjunct instructor at Waukesha County Technical College for over 2 decades, instructing and training future firefighters in the fire service. And whereas Chief Steve Howard is an active member of the community by participating in a variety of organizations and service clubs. Therefore, members of the Wisconsin Senate, on the motion, Senate President Chris Kapinga and Representative Scott Allen congratulate Chief Steve Howard on his retirement and wish him success in his future endeavors. Now in our program, we will allow Chief an opportunity for a few remarks. And
one of the things I do know that I need, I remember being a young firefighter and joking about the older firefighters that couldn't read the map. That didn't work out so good. That came right back to bite me. I'd like to start out by thanking everyone who planned this event. I'm really humbled, blown away by this. I did not expect this. It is truly a great honor. I know a lot of time went into the planning, and I thank everyone who set this up and put their hard work into it. My career started over 35 years ago, up at City Hall, taking the oath of office and committing to protect the lives and property of this community, which is our mission. And thankfully it's on my patch so it could remind me throughout my career. But that is something that I don't think I realized the significance of that being 22 years old and taking that oath. I was fortunate to realize very early on in the fire service that very few things that are worthwhile are accomplished by yourself. I've been blessed with the support of many great people throughout my career. People who took time to show me how to do things, from tasks to mentoring me, and most importantly, to have faith in me, to give me responsibility and allow me to grow in my profession, but probably more importantly also that mentoring to allow me to grow as a person, to be a member of this community. I'm thankful for the many friendships, the great opportunities that I've had throughout my career. I apologize that there's just way too many people to name in person, but I'm really, really thankful for all the opportunities that were given to me. We don't provide service to this community. I've not had some of the opportunities that I had just within the fire department. We're supported by an entire city. There's many agencies that make sure that we're capable of providing our mission. And I'd like to again point out a couple of departments in particular that have had a big impact on my department. My first thanks really goes to the Waukesha Police Department. Early in my career, I was promoted to lieutenant and had the responsibility of doing fire investigations. There I got coupled with a lot of great detectives, got to learn and meet a lot of really good people at the police department that taught me how to write good reports, how to do investigative stuff, and just a lot of really good people skills that were, to be honest with you, somewhat unique. At 3 o'clock in the morning, we don't have a lot of allies, and the police department is always one of those. And I am really grateful for those relationships that I was able to develop, and the close working relationship I had for many years with the police department, and that's very, very valued. The Department of Public Works, from the engineering to the garage to the people at the DPW. Again, at 3 o'clock in the morning when we need something, we need fuel, we need assistance. There's not a lot of people we can call. The DPW is always there for us. These beautiful fire stations that we were able to build with the support of the elected officials in the community, all that happened with the assistance of engineers and all of their staff to provide us with beautiful fire stations to serve the community. The city's attorney's office, again, throughout my career, I think there's a couple of times that there was you want to do what, or you're going to do what, conversations that happened, and I've always appreciated not only the legal support, the advice, the mentoring, but also the friendship with your office, and I really, really appreciate that. The IT department, when I started on the department, I think there was one computer and it was like kept in a certain office. Maybe Kathy had access to it, to all of the technology that we have that allows us to provide service to the community. I really appreciate that. The communications department, with having Facebook and be able to communicate, doing recruitment, all those things really help us accomplish our mission, and I appreciate all the support. And then last but most important, the people with the money, and again, a lot of departments support us, but also the finance department. Over the years, I've had the opportunity for preparing budgets for over the last 20 years to work closely with the finance department to find ways to make sure that we can get the equipment that's needed to provide the service to the community and to keep our people safe. Again, throughout my career, I've worked with a lot of different people, and I thank all of those for their support and help. I'd be remiss not to thank the elected officials. I've worked with a lot of the past mayors, but I especially want to thank Mayor Riley, Sean. There definitely is a professional relationship and a friendship, and I really appreciate the support that you gave me for the last 10 years and being able to share a laugh in between some of the seriousness. I was thinking of calling you last night at 3 o'clock in the morning and just say there's no bad news, because always when I call you and wake you up in the middle of the night, there is bad news, but I kind of figured you wanted to sleep. But you're not going to get called by me anymore, but somebody in the fire department, unfortunately, probably will be calling you with that news in the middle of the night. But I always appreciate the support that even in the middle of the night, the first questions were, are your people safe? Are the residents safe? And what do you need from me? And that happened without fail with those phone calls, and that's greatly appreciated. The city council, all the elected officials throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different agencies, and I really appreciate the support for our mission of protecting the lives and property. At some risk of offending someone, I do have a few people that I do need to mention first. And first and foremost is my wife, Beth. I thank you for all your support. She's the one that gets woken up in the middle of the night before I make those phone calls, or wakes up in the middle of the night and I left and not knowing where I'm going, coming home frustrated from meetings or whatever it would be. And Beth has always been there to support me and be that sounding board, and I really appreciate it. And you should not get any more 7 o'clock or 6:30 in the morning calls for overtime opportunities on our landline at home. So I know you'll appreciate that. I'd like to recognize my father, Denny Howard. Retired assistant fire chief. I never set up, as Joe said, to be a firefighter. And being a typical teenager, I was somewhat rebellious. So if someone said, "Hey, you should be a firefighter because your dad was a firefighter," of course I wanted to do something opposite. But I realized that throughout my life, my dad was training me to be a firefighter. I learned how to put up a ladder like you do on a fire ground. Learned a lot of those types of skills, you know, and how to organize things. But more importantly, what my dad taught me, and I'm very, very grateful, is the values needed to be a firefighter. I really am very appreciative of the upbringing and the support that my dad had for me. Never pressured me into being a firefighter, but once I stepped up and wanted to be a firefighter, he was always there for me throughout my career. Next on the list was Kevin Beers. His speech wasn't too bad, so I guess I will say a few nice words about Kevin. But as Kevin related, we did meet in EMT class, and Kevin has been a friend, a confidant, someone that I can trust throughout my entire career of the fire service. I'll save some of my stories about him till his retirement, but I got some good ones for him later. The next person I'd like to recognize is Kevin Kroger. Kevin is a retired assistant chief with the department. When I came on the job, Kevin was still an equipment operator, had many long conversations back in old fire station number 1 on the apparatus floor at night about what it means to be a good firefighter and the need for education and how we need to work collectively to move our fire department forward in the fire service. Spent many times doing training, all kinds of things, and I really would not be where I am now without that friendship with Kevin and his support. And the last two, and again, not to offend anybody on the department, I appreciate the support of everyone, but I would be very remiss not to point out the great things that Kathy has done for me and Joe. They're the people that I work with closest day in and day out. They've always been there for me, not only in their professional capacities, but also with that friendship. Had the opportunity to work through some pretty tough times, and I always knew that coming into work, I had a lot of good allies, and I really appreciate it, and will miss that. As I was thinking about what I was going to say today, I thought of two things that were insights that my dad had shared with me at one of the conversations that we had throughout. I thank everybody here on the department. I know this job is very challenging. It can be stressful, and you know, the culture that we've developed to support one another, to help people move forward is greatly appreciative. I guess the other little reminder to the department before I get to my two takeaways is to remember the fun in the job. My wife Beth often reminds me of the coolness of the job because when I look at fire trucks, I see expensive things that break down. But it is quite an honor and a privilege that we have to serve this community. We have some excellent resources. So enjoy the fun parts of the job because the bad days will unfortunately come. That's part of our service. Back to the two takeaways and the insights that I want was first, one of the best pieces of advice I got from my dad is get involved, take responsibility. He was pretty harsh with it, but it was very straight to the point. You have no right to complain or criticize if you're not involved in stepping up and taking responsibility to make things better. The last observation I have that I'm going to share with you, and it's a little bit of a twist on something my dad had talked to me about, but was if we look at the doors in the front of the fire station. If you look at the perspective of the City of Waukesha Fire Station number 1 over its history, going back to 1852, this building, Fire Station 1's been in different locations. We've had different front doors, but every time the call came in, the doors went up, firefighters went out to respond to the community to take care of that emergency. Use your time on this department to make it better. This is not about us as individuals. This is about those doors going out and us providing the best possible service to the community while keeping ourselves safe so that you all hopefully can get to a happy retirement that I'm able to enjoy. It's been a great honor and privilege to be given the opportunity to lead the Waukesha Fire Department. Thank you.